Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Perfect. All right. So hopefully you can see my screen. Sorry, a little technical difficulty there. Today we're going to talk about our automation portfolio in general. As just mentioned, my name is Ceverly. I'm new to the team, so I'm going to be joined by my colleague Rei. Obviously, you guys have all met Rei. I'm sure she's amazing, and the rest of my team. So definitely the expert. I'll probably pull her in the Q&A section if we have a lot of questions there. But just to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to cover today, is more of a holistic perspective of how our automation portfolio in general, just because it's a newer part of our portfolio at MuleSoft. And we really want to make sure that you understand the toolbox and why we're kind of investing in this area. Because we're going to talk about some roadmap items and some tools that are not currently available, we always have to just put this in here. From a Salesforce perspective, just make any purchasing decision on what is currently available. So today, customers really expect a lot more from us, and we're all customers, we're all consumers in everyday life, right? And the beauty of this, if you've read our State of the Connected Customer report that just came out, which if you haven't, definitely recommend it. Great insights there. 80% of us really believe that our experiences should be better considering all the data that companies are collecting from us. And the great thing about MuleSoft is we're part of that, right? We're adding to that. But the expectations are changing because there is so much data that is now in our systems and in companies, that we're all kind of expecting faster service. We're expecting better personalization in those experiences, and we're expecting consistency. It doesn't matter if we interact with a business online, through mobile, or through web. All those experiences should feel pretty consistent. The problem is, that to create those consistent, faster, more personalized experiences, we really need to make sure that all of those end-to-end processes are connected. And in order to do that, we have to have different collaborations happening between different people and processes and systems. And we're very familiar with all of those three components, but just thinking about it, we have our customers, we have a front office, so that might be your sales rep, that might be your service rep. We also work a lot with external vendors. When in the last presentation we just saw, we saw a lot of that with the order vendors. And then obviously we have finance, things in the back office that are happening. And if you look at this, each of these teams have different processes. They work with different systems. There may not be a holistic perspective of this end-to-end process. The beauty of where businesses are going and automation and how this comes in is that there is a lot of investment still. We're seeing this a lot with companies. This is why also MuleSoft is also investing in automation. We're seeing the value of automation and the importance of it in the market. But it really requires, when we think about requirements, and a lot of these we already have with our existing MuleSoft portfolio, but we're also bringing this in with our automation portfolio as well. But it's really making sure that we can ingest and use that data that we're already connecting. And I'm sure a lot of you've heard about generative AI already and how that's really influencing our businesses. So definitely a huge component of automation. We need to have the ability to capture customer and employee data in general, making that could be through forms, wherever they're working, or online and digital formats. We need to have the ability to scale faster. MuleSoft is huge with this pre-built composable building blocks. You guys are all very familiar with that. We need to make sure that we have that in our automation portfolio as well. And again, just the foundation of any sort of automation is automating across all those systems and apps that we've already talked about. And then obviously governance and monitoring. As we scale, that's really, really important. And we want to make sure security is a part of that. All of this really requires the right tooling. And for those of you who are new to sort of our portfolio, our automation portfolio, this is a high-level view of it. We have different tools in here, and you'll see Anypoint Platform listed on here, but don't get scared on that. It's a light version. It's kind of showing that it is a part of the end-to-end process, and we need to make sure that we're providing that in our toolbox. So I'll start at the top, which is more, if you look on the right-hand side, it says tactical to strategic. Orchestration is the strategic layer. It's really looking at that customer front end, vendors, external vendors, and back end, different processes and people bringing them together. It's sort of a long running process. Within that, we have invocable actions that are kind of calling out these different tools to perform different functions. So I will start on the right-hand side, which seems kind of off, but Builder is sort of the foundation of, if you're familiar with Salesforce, the automation portfolio that started over there. And it's really this tool that allows you to use low code to build user interaction and triggered automation. So it's a really powerful tool that we've built on and extended further. And then if we pop over to Composer, I'm hoping these first two you guys are all familiar with, because I know our team has been working really hard to make sure you understand what they are. But Composer is that low-code tool that helps you connect to your APIs and integrate into other systems and bring them into the automation portfolio. RPA is a very specific tool from its robotic process automation, if you're new to that, but it basically uses bots to automate tasks. And then our newest one that Rei is very familiar with, so if you have questions around this one, this will probably come up, but this is in pilot right now, is IDP, which is Intelligent Document Processing. And we'll go into this a little bit later, but in general, it's just about extracting information from documents. And so it's a really powerful tool, but it's using amazing templates, so you don't have to start from scratch. And you'll see this cute little icon here, which is our Einstein icon. That just means there's AI involved in these different tooling. And you've already seen the Anypoint platform AI, where ACB comes in, and then we will show you Einstein for Flow, which comes in the builder angle. So this is your toolbox from a MuleSoft perspective and what you can work with. And each of these have different functions, but just keep in mind, this is what you should go with. Now, I wanted to show, for those of you who may not be as versed in business process management, or like thinking about, well, okay, how do these tools work together? You're very familiar with the three, like engagement layer, maybe an automation integration layer, and then a system layer. We do this in processes as well. If you look at the top, the way this is sort of structured is by stages. So we're going to have a trigger happen, and then there's going to be a test drive stage. And you'll see there's multiple steps within this test drive stage that really can be steps in parallel. They can be sequential. This is the power of orchestration, because it allows you kind of do both. But it's looking at that complete process and seeing all the different systems in place that are happening at that time. And then the tools that we will use to build out those processes. I'm going to show you this hopefully in the next slide in a demo. If it works, I'm hoping you can hear it, but just kind of show you holistically what this really looks like when you think from a strategic angle, and then if you're just working in different pieces of that strategy. All right, so I think I have to share a different way. All right, hopefully you can see this.
The Electron Motors team built a customer-facing...
Sorry. Here we go.
The Electron Motors team built a customer-facing app to support their exclusive test drive event, and now wants to provide customers the ease of ordering a vehicle online. One of the opportunities in crafting an end-to-end vehicle buying experience is connecting disparate systems with the power of the Salesforce platform. Notifications and workflows form the backbone of the entire vehicle buying experience, which includes gathering customer data and preferences, loan approvals, inventory management, and logistics. This complex multi-user, multi-departmental process is a perfect fit for Salesforce Flow Orchestration, which provides the ability to configure one single unified parent process that organizes sub-processes across people, systems, and time. This orchestration coordinates multiple background and interactive steps and is easily configured by an administrator to streamline this process across every system and team. So let's begin by showing you how an admin used Salesforce Flow to automate and streamline this process. It's worth noting that these processes can take many different forms, from real-time triggered flows using Data Cloud or platform events to ad hoc case management patterns, as with incident management. Here you see the entire top-down vehicle purchase orchestration. As a Salesforce admin for Electron Motors, I collaborated with the process owner to model the entire vehicle buying experience. The process is triggered when a car is delivered and ready for a test drive. From there, a customer of Electron Motors can sign up via their app to schedule an appointment with a sales agent. After the customer's driver's license is validated using an RPA process, a quote is automatically created and delivered to the customer. Upon approval, the customer can select whether they require financing, and if so, a loan officer is automatically assigned and the loan submission process is kicked off via an RPA bot. After the loan is approved, an order is automatically created in SAP and NetSuite. Then the vehicle is prepared for delivery. The service manager receives confirmation of the delivery and the customer gets his new car. Finally, a satisfaction survey is sent to make sure Electron Motors incorporates any customer feedback going forward.
Okay. Get back to my slides, just one moment. All right. And now we're going to talk about the tools themselves. So the ones we just mentioned in our toolbox, right? Now, you'll notice in this first one, you're probably like, hey, I didn't see Einstein for Flow mentioned as a tool in that toolbox. Well, this is sort of a feature of a tool. So Einstein for Flow is where we bring in that AI. We're talking about generative AI. And this is a really cool thing. If you've never used Builder or orchestration or any of our tools on the Salesforce side, this is a great way to start. And it's in pilot. So if you're interested in this, definitely let your AE know that you're interested in trying it out. But it's sort of a newbie tool. So if you're not as familiar with building, it's an easy way to use natural language processing to build out a flow. And so as you see here, one of our customers in a pilot program said, no matter how skilled you are at Flow, which some of us aren't, it's easier to have something to start with than to start from scratch. And we can all kind of relate to that, right? When we're trying something new. So very cool technology here. We're going to start bringing in a lot more Einstein throughout our whole portfolio of tools. And we've mentioned that already. So starting at the top, that orchestration tool that we talked about earlier, the value of this, again, is really orchestrating those multi-user, multi-step processes across all the different teams. The thing you just saw in the demo, you see it here on the right-hand side, what that really looks like. It's almost a no-code tool to use, but it really makes it easier to notify your teams and really reduce the time in between handoffs, which is really valuable when you're thinking about productivity and efficiency across the board. We also have the ability to have work guides that are built into the actual process, so it captures that data and next steps, which, if you remember, was one of the requirements that we need for our automation portfolio. Builder, it is currently also available. It comes with Salesforce licenses out of the box. It's included, but it turns manual workflows into guided forms. So that's just basically digitizing workflows. And there's a lot of innovation happening here, whether that's reactive screens, and we'll kind of get into that with the roadmap slide. And then there's also the ability, what it's really based on is automatically updating records and sending communications based on triggering events. And then you can also automate across those connected systems through those invocable actions, which, Composer, RPA, Anypoint Platform, that's where that really comes in here. Very powerful tool. You can think of this, if we're thinking about the analogy of a toolbox, as maybe your drill. Composer, again, is that low-code connector. It's about bringing your siloed data and apps together with a few clicks. Hopefully you guys have all used this great tool. It's amazing. And it's really, the power of it is an out-of-box connector. So again, we're trying to make it easier for people to start automating their business and really connecting their customer and employee processes. RPA, robotic process automation, is also one of our newer tools in our portfolio, which is doing low-code automation with bots. This is really powerful if you have if you're working with legacy systems that you need access and record processes, kind of remove some of the repetitive work that's happening. You can instantly capture customer data from documents and images. We're going to talk about that more in our newer tool in the IDP. And obviously share and reuse those automations, which is really important for that scalability factor. And here comes intelligent document processing. It's in pilot again, just kind of keep that in mind. It's our newest tool, and we're very excited about it because I think it's really going to help a lot of you if you're working, as you saw in the demo with the driver's license, it sort of extracted that really, really easily through a template already. So an ID template. And we're going to, again, create more of these templates so you don't have to start from scratch. And it also has the Einstein AI built into it. So definitely a lot of powerful capabilities there. And then all of this comes together in one package. So we didn't want you to have to buy each tool separately. We really want to make sure that you, no matter what you want to use and where you're at in your automation journey, that you choose what you need. You pay as you go. So basically it's a consumption-based SKU. And if you're not thinking maybe you're more tactical at the moment and you only want to use RPA or you only want to use Composer, that's totally fine. Choose what you need to use because we just want to make sure that you have the toolbox handy. Now, looking forward from a roadmap perspective, these are some of the high-level things that we're working on. Just keep in mind, it is roadmap, so forward-looking statement applies here. In the spring release, we're introducing IDP, which is that intelligent document processing that we just talked about. Super excited about that. We want you to start using that. And then in Flow Builder, we have reactive forms, which, again, lots of innovation here. You'll see this kind of in the spring, summer, and winter, a lot of different enhancements to reactive forms. And then Flow and Prompt Builder, if you're familiar with the Salesforce ecosystem and Einstein and what's going on there, we're really building in our products into that ecosystem as well to make it really easy and dynamic. Same thing with data triggered flows. That's really important if you're working with real-time changes to data within Data Cloud. It'll actually trigger flows. So that's a really cool enhancement if you're thinking about building out those flows. In summer, we're going to add some more templates. Like I said, we're really trying to make sure that you have the templates that you need to start with, that you don't have to start from scratch. And we're also starting to help non-admins, so our business users, sort of build out flows too in the summer release. And through that, they're going to have an automation app, which is kind of like not a governance kind of portal, but similar to a governance portal, where you're going to have access to all of your automation in one screen. And then a little bit more on screen flows and like the capabilities growing there. And then RPA process versioning. Obviously, that's probably super important for you all without having to remove your process from production before kind of testing it and playing with it. And then winter release. So when I say winter, it's usually around October-ish, and our Dreamforce is our big event. And usually this is where we will announce these things. But Einstein for Flow will be hopefully GA by then. That's our goal. And so you'll be able to see that in action. And data transformation is obviously huge when we're thinking about how we format data into and bring it into our processes without code. And then we're having a free RPA trial for those who have not tried it. That will be an awesome addition. And then obviously modernizing our RPA builder. So we're definitely innovating across the board through all of our toolbox. And there's many more innovations too. This was just a high level view. So with that, I want to thank you all. And I'm going to open up to questions and questions. And then also, maybe I should give you guys a pop quiz.
It looks like we have one question. It is from Sagnick, and he asks, is AWS Comprehend or AWS TextTrack the under the hood for the IDP here? Or what is the IDP powered with?
So I can take that question. Thanks, Ceverly, for the presentation. Super awesome. For IDP, the existing feature in the RPA tool is powered by AWS. For our upcoming IDP product, We are open to using different models to power the technology, and for the GA launch, it's going to be powered by AWS Tech Track, correct? But there's opportunity for you to bring your own model or plug into other LLM in the future when we open up the white labeling for more tools.
Awesome. And unfortunately, that brings us to time. So if you are still here, before we say thank you to these amazing speakers, thank you, Ceverly, thank you, Rei. Huge round of applause. Please head over to the AI content moderation using MuleSoft. And then we have our 2024 Community Awards, and we'll be wrapping up the session. But thank you again so much, both of you. And thank you to all of our leaders for tuning in. Thanks all.